Today's poem is A House Built from Cloth by Adam Horovitz and requested by Francoise Panto-Jones. I'm surprised that Adam has not been requested before now, being a local poet, but I did read a poem of his mother's, the 57th poem in this series. Adam was once quite disrespectful to me in a letter to the local newspaper when we were conducting a community planning conference in Stroud in 1996. I can't remember the details now, but I'd used the term brouhaha in a letter which moved him to derision. Several years later, in a packed, heart-rending memorial gathering, I heard Adam deliver a eulogy for his friend Gaius Moore, a prodigiously gifted and gentle young man, and unbeknownst to Adam, I forgave him on the spot. I introduced this poem, especially to listeners unfamiliar with this favoured part of the world, by attempting a very rough sketch of Stroud and its history. The dual keys to Stroud's existence and prosperity were water and wool. The last ice age halted a few miles north of Stroud, so the 5 valleys in which the town is built were not ground out wide by boulder-laden glaciers, but were cut deep and narrow by torrential meltwater as the ice retreated. For centuries, water has been ingeniously managed in these steep valleys, channeled through stone culverts from springs to streams and rivers and canals, feeding leats and mill ponds, and powering the many mills that grew along the valley bottoms during the Industrial Revolution. Throughout the Cotswolds, sheep provided wealth to owners and employment to ordinary folk. Stroud's mills turned the wool into cloth. Famously, the red serge for British soldiers' uniform was made here and became known as Stroud Scarlet. The hills hereabouts would be festooned with bolts of freshly dyed cloth, hung out to dry and be fixed by the sunlight. These were constantly tended by workers billeted in tents in the fields with the cloth, which was fixed to the drying frames with hooks, from which we get the expression to be on tenterhooks. Stroud also produced the green baize for the billiards and snooker tables that spread throughout the empire. More recently, the bilious acid lemon cloth that covered tennis balls was made here in the last working mill in the town. The lawnmower, invented by Edward Beard Budding, was inspired by the rotary blades that cut evenly the nap of the cloth, and the nap was pulled upright in preparation for the trimming by French teasels, the very plants Adam refers to in this poem. A House Built from Cloth. I grew up in a house built from cloth, played in the ruins of cottage industry, old stones like teasel teeth chewing at my feet. Fragments of industry, their lime wash white faded to a smoker's gold. I grew up in a valley stretched over stone like cloth, rolled footballs and roller skates over sheep-felted grass, built locks in the stream under the old trade road. I grew up in a landscape where hedges and dry stone walls ran through the fields like seams, where the past was a runic language stitched, dyed and woven into oracular hills. Time settles like ordered cloth in these valleys, catches itself red-handed as it is folded back. I grew up watching the past, pulling the weight of the future along the canal's linear thread.